Mistakes.
So I think mistakes are almost an inevitable part of learning something new.
And I think mistakes are great. I think it's an important part of learning as long as we learn from them. What happened? What was the mistake? What would we like to do differently next time that's going to make you feel better? What's going to make you improve that driving from being very jittery or juttery to being smooth? What can you do that's going to happen? And sometimes just reflecting on what's happened is really part of the learning process in making mistakes.
And if you're a learner driver and taking lessons, this is the time to be making mistakes while you've got that environment which is set up and geared up for you to try new things, and you've got somebody else there who's helping manage those risks for you.
And mistakes can happen at any time as well. You might be doing something over and over again. And you think, well, I've got this. And then all of a sudden, something different happens and you make a mistake. But that's good because you've noticed it. And you might have noticed that it didn't feel right. Well, that's also good. But you might have noticed it or not noticed that you'd made a mistake. And that's where your supervising driver comes in or your driving instructor comes in, and they can just guide and help you in making those correct decisions next time.
Now, one of the other things about mistakes is not dwelling on them too much. So, depending obviously on the size of the mistake and the impact that that had on everybody around you, if you just had a small mistake that was easily corrected and didn't cause any safety issues for everyone else, then recognizing it, noticing it, reflecting on what you would do differently next time, but not dwelling on it so much that you're continuing to drive and you're no longer thinking about the drive-in and the road ahead. Instead, your mind is just focusing on this mistake you just made. Because then sometimes we can get what we call a snowball effect, where your mind is back on what's just happened, back on the mistake instead of your driving, and then you make another mistake and another mistake and another mistake. And it has this snowball effect where you just end up making mistake after mistake and feeling more and more nervous and anxious. So if you've made the sort of mistake where actually you need to process it and think about it straight away, if it's the sort of mistake that's going to impact your driving, then finding somewhere safe to pull over in a safe space so that you can process that before continuing with your journey.
What you might also find is that you're making the same type of mistake all again. If you notice that it is the same type of mistake, what we need to do is also change what we're doing. And that is something that needs to be worked on because if you continue to do the same mistake over and over again, it's a habit. And we need to change that habit to make sure that we create a new habit that you can remember so the mistake doesn't happen again.
Yeah, so you might need to do some detective work.